notorious, so notorious.
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me right here in the home studio. We have had a lot happen here in the last couple of weeks since the last time that you guys saw me on the 4th of July when I did this episode. I have the day off and I am not booked. But that's okay because there's plenty of professional wrestling shows happening around the area. I'm going to take you guys along and see if we can't basically cold call and try to get on one of the shows. Where I prove to you guys that you don't have to necessarily know everybody and know all the ins and outs of getting on a professional wrestling show. Now, I had some people who had reached out to me after the episode fact and said they wish they would have had that conversation of me, talking with them and actually getting that full on, yeah, you can go get your stuff and come back and be on the show. For that, I'm sorry. It is kind of a unique and kind of a, not really a tricky situation, but it's kind of like a tense talk when you go through all of that stuff. And so I think if I would have added the fact that I was going to have a camera and audio and microphone and all that stuff to capture that, I think that it would have, it could have thrown them off and it could have actually hurt my chances of getting booked. So sorry I couldn't show you guys absolutely everything that goes on, but really it's just going in there, saying you're there to help with the ring, and then having a quick conversation with the promoter or whoever is the booker of that event and just finding out if they have an open spot. There are times where you're not going to have an open spot, and you know what? The worst case scenario, you get to shake some hands. Most often than not, they let you at least sit around and watch the show without having to pay for anything. So no matter what, you're usually going to get something out of it. The independent professional wrestling scene doesn't usually just say like, no, you got to do all this stuff. There are some people out there, there are some promoters out there that do that, but 99% of them will at least let you watch the show for at least coming in and setting up the ring. So with that one, with me going out and doing that, it actually is kind of a snowballed. So I actually ended up working, that was Thursday night for the 4th of July. I ended up working the Royal Rumble there, and then I was immediately invited to go to the East Tennessee Championship Wrestling. They had a show up in Newton, Tennessee. I was immediately invited to go up there. I ended up working twice for that show as well. Here's some clips of that. Here it is. And then the very following night, I was up in La Follette, Tennessee for SPCW, and here's some awesome fan footage from that.
Let's get it! Let's get it! Yeah! No apology, greatness just follows me. This ain't no trickery. Slick J's made me quicker. Gotta rise and deliver. Let's get it! No, I've never been a quitter. Always had to be a winner. Slick J's made me quicker. Gotta rise and deliver. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Where I also worked twice. I did the singles match as a pre-show match, and then I did a tag team match against the tag team champions, and got to hang out with a very, very talented locker room, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. All the shows were a lot of fun. Getting to meet people, getting to travel, getting to hang out with everybody was really awesome. Fast forward to this last week, we were at Southern States Wrestling up in Gray, Tennessee. Once again, I went there expecting to wrestle one time and ended up wrestling twice, and I got not one, but 2 victories. This is a TV taping, so we weren't really allowed to record, but here's some pictures from this show. It's really cool to see kind of like a momentum picking up. It's strange. You can go from not doing anything at all to your weekends are stuck traveling across country, and that's awesome. I just definitely really appreciate all the good things that are coming about all of this stuff. And it's all because I reached out. It's all because I took the time to talk to some of the wrestlers and took the time to hang out with them and be willing to be told no, but still going and showing up, not knowing exactly what's going to happen. So in professional wrestling, there's just so much that is, you can't get stuck in your head a whole lot. I think that's kind of the key message here. One of the things that one of the topics that I wanted to bring up today, and this is from somebody who reached out, was they were kind of surprised as to how many different types of wrestling shows there are. Because to your not so average wrestling fan, all they think of is WWE is number one, maybe some AEW, depending on how much of a fan they really are. And then even lower than that, at least a little bit, is TNA Impact. But if you're not on the major networks, there are a lot of people that don't understand how many shows there are for professional wrestling. And there's such a huge independent scene, especially right here in the South. The South still lives and breathes Tennessee, still lives and breathes professional wrestling, especially here in Tennessee. So with that being said, there is your average weekly shows where different promotions, they usually run once, maybe twice. If they're really good, 3 times a month. Those are the ones that are just doing their average storylines and all of that stuff. That's kind of the normal standings. But they also do a lot of work for charities, and I've done probably 200 different charity shows, from everything from helping somebody fight cancer, benefit shows. We just did one back in May for a company that dealt with people with special needs. And let me tell you, people with special needs are some of the best fans I've ever encountered. It's still real to them, and they come out, they have so much fun, and they really get into it, and they enjoy it. And if they love you, they love you. If they hate you, they hate you, and they do not hesitate to tell you this. So we have those shows. I've even done shows for a birthday party. It really just depends on how many people want, or what somebody's willing to spend on a birthday party for something like that. I've done shows for churches. There was a time when I was up in Chicago where it was me and my trainer and 4 pastors that they did their best to put on a tag team match that lasted about 2.5 minutes, because people don't really realize like what all goes into this. And after that, they said, all right, we're gonna bring out the real wrestlers. And then me and my trainer at the time, we went out there and we put on about a 10 to 15 minute show. But we did this twice a day, a couple times, up in the inner city of Chicago, where they just bust these kids in. And we're talking, I think it was like 1,500 per event. So we had to do it twice so they can get all of them in. It was a Vacation Bible School kind of thing, and it was so much fun. They've got just different events for pretty much anything and everything. I have been involved with it. So I think some of the stigma of professional wrestling is that it's got to be, this big grand stage. And while every professional wrestler's dream is to make it to that level, there's still a fine art to being able to wrestle on the independent circuit, and to be able to get out in front of crowds and get out in front of people and get out in front and really make a name for yourself and really start to make a brand for yourself. If you look on the WWE sign-up page, where you're basically going out to apply for a job, just like any other job in the world, there's certain things that they're asking for now they didn't ask for many years ago, and that is, what is your social media following? And that is why I started doing the vlog. That is why I'm really pushing my Instagram, why I'm really pushing my Facebook page. And it makes sense, because as you're growing, now you're becoming more marketable, not so much to yourself, but to the world. And that gives them more of a reason to bring you in. And in this journey that I'm doing, I'm also seeing that I'm also seeing that the social media presence is just adding more value to me, because now instead of going in with, next to nothing to give a promotion other than wrestling skills, because anybody can gain the wrestling skills and can do some of the things. But as a professional wrestler, one of the things I'm going to be able to bring into them is saying like, hey, I've got X amount of followers, and you know that my stuff's going to end up online, so there's your exposure for yourself. So it's really like learning how to bring in new things to the table, because yes, learning how to be a professional wrestler is a big deal. It takes a lot of training, a lot of time, a lot of work. You got to spend countless hours in the gym, and just everything's got to click for you just right. But there's so much more stuff that you can do to bring to the table. It's not so much just the look. It's not so much just your acting skills. It's not so much your physical ability anymore. Everything nowadays is revolving around what your social media presence is and how you overcome that and what you can bring to the table. So thank you guys so much for joining me on my journey. Thank you guys so much for coming out. As always, you guys can support me personally by ordering up one of my t-shirts. I have the Notorious red one where it says, I am exactly what I say I am on the back. I also have the Notorious black with my face on it. It's got the Notorious name right there. You can just DM me and we will get that shipped out to you guys right away. All of these are made right here locally, and I get them per episode, or per order. So it's kind of cool. They are pretty much handmade. They're hand screen printed, as you guys can see right here, by FK47 Customs. Those guys are awesome. We also have some stickers coming out. That's coming up very soon, so we can take those to the shows. Upcoming dates, we have Tennessee Legacy Wrestling in Rocky Top, Tennessee. We're looking forward to that. This is my second appearance there. And then the following Sunday, I was invited to go up to School of Morton Wrestling for the Sunday show there. And I do believe that they do kind of a TV taping. It's a YouTube taping. So it'll be a lot of fun getting a little bit more exposure. Make sure you guys come on out, buy a ticket. Here's the other thing. Tickets for these things is cheaper than going to a movie. All right. Tickets to these things is very, very cheap. So if you have a family of 2, 3, 4, and you can't afford to take them out to the movies, you guys can't afford to go out to dinner all the time, and you just need something to do, professional wrestling shows last 2 to 3 hours. All right. And you can usually get a ticket between $5 and no more than $25, depending on where you're going to go. On top of that, you're supporting your local entertainment. You're also supporting local wrestlers, and you're also giving a chance to see some of the new up-and-coming guys, both men and women. I can't just keep saying guys anymore. Both men and women who are coming up, and you just never know who's going to make it to the next level. And it's kind of cool that you can be like, hey, I saw him when he was here, pretty much a nobody. So come on out, say hello, get your picture taken with us. Support the wrestlers individually by buying their t-shirts and all of those things. We're looking forward to having you guys up on the next vlog. Not really sure what the content's going to be. We're kind of going through this as we go. But as always, guys, thank you so much, and make sure that you always stay
Notorious, so notorious.